Mars in the fourth house. This house is concerned with mother, heart, conveyance, getting movable or immovable assets inherited. Rashi in this house would have a huge say whether the results would be favorable or not. If the Rashi owned by Mars, Sun, Jupiter is falling in the fourth house, then the native would have good relations with mother and would get good nourishment and protection in their childhood. The mother would never agree to send the native to a boarding school. The native would inherit property from parents. It would be later in stage for the native to own conveyance of comfort. The native would build or buy property through self-efforts in case they have no parents. If native stays away from smoking and drinking, then their heart would function well even beyond their 60s. The native would get respect and conveyance from people in power. When Mars is placed in its own Rashi or Rashi owned by Sun or Jupiter in the fourth house, then the native himself would have a powerful position. This placement makes a person bold, daring, dashing, and competent to face difficulties, enemies, and adversaries in life. This also makes the native generous in material matters and liberal in helping people in need. But they don't tolerate insubordination, indiscipline, disobedience, and lack of loyalty. They have a commanding voice, so they make a very efficient and successful commander of armed forces. The native would never sell property unless they are desperate for money. They would still stick to their quoted price, and they tend to be straightforward in their transactions and don't have any intentions to cheat or exploit anyone. If Sun is in the sign owned by Saturn, Venus, Mercury, or Moon, then it's completely different story. They have a die-hard approach towards men and matters. They would never surrender even at some heavy cost to themselves. They sell their ancestral property without batting an eye. They would have intentions to possess a share of someone else's property. If Capricorn falls in the fourth house, then the native would rise to a position of power and present themselves more than their position. Natives should be always careful regarding driving, heart ailments, disturbance in blood systems, maladjustment between mother and spouse. The vehicles that meet with accidental damage is disastrous. Mars is associated with injuries caused by bleeding, and native would always get cuts and bruises in their childhood and adolescence, and sometimes head injuries as well. Along with this placement, if Sun or Moon are placed in the ninth or 10th house, then the native would possess inheritance. If Mars is in Aries or Leo or Capricorn, then the native leaves the parental family in childhood and is adopted by some other family. If Mars is in Taurus, Scorpio, or Pisces, someone living jointly with the natural parents adopts the child.